Hello, it's Lisa Hiles here. How are you? Thank you for joining me for Lesson 7 of my B1 course for intermediate learners and for those of you with an IELTS score of about 4. This lesson is about the present perfect. We'll be reviewing its meaning and its uses. We'll be focusing on form in questions, positive and negative sentences, and we'll be reviewing time phrases commonly used with the present perfect simple. It's a good one. Let's have a look at the first task, shall we? First task is a test to find out how much you already know about the present perfect. Here we go. So here you have to choose the correct form of the verb. So number 1 is, how long do you live, or how long have you lived in your house or flat? Number 2, I live or I've lived there for 14 years. Number 3, I can't find my phone. Do you? Do you see it, or have you seen it? Which is correct? The train is late, or the train has been late every day this week. It's very annoying. Have you ever been, or did you ever go to Italy? And number 6, I've been there to Italy many times, or I went there many times. Which form do you think is correct in numbers 1 to 6? Stop there, have a read again, choose which ones you think is right, and then we'll have a look at the answers together. Okay, here we go. Task 1 answers. Number 1 is, have you lived? Number 2, I've lived. Number 3, have you seen? Number 4, has been. Number 5, have you ever been? And 6, I've been. So unsurprisingly, all 6 answers are in the present perfect tense. So how do we use the present perfect simple? And when do we use it? Okay, we use it when, if you look at number 1, the state or the action continues from the past and into the present. So it's a connection, it links the past simple or the past with the present. It's a link, a bridge, if you like. So, for example, I've lived in my house for 14 years. 14 years ago, I lived in my house all the way up till now. I've lived in my house for 14 years. Number 2, we also use the present perfect simple when the results of a past action are still important in the present. For example, I've lost my phone. I don't have it now. I've lost it. Yep. Number 3, when the action takes place in the present period. So, for example, the train has been late every day this week. Okay, so for example, I'm speaking to you actually on a Monday, but the week isn't finished yet. So the train has been late every day this week. Number 4, when we don't say when or give a time when the action happened, but we mean in the past, in our whole life. Yeah, so I've been to Italy many times in my life. Yeah. Okay, let's look at the form. How do we form it? So, for example, in a positive sentence, I've lived in my house for 14 years. We have the subject, I. The present simple form, or have of has, I have, contraction I've. Then we have the past participle. Now, lived is a regular verb, so we put an ed on it. I've lived in my house for 14 years. Positive. What about the negative sentences? I haven't lived with my parents for many years. There we have the subject, I, have not, haven't. and the past participle, lived. If it was she hasn't lived. Okay? Question form, you invert, so you turn round the have or has and the subject. Have you lived in your house all your life? Have you, not you have, but have you lived? So auxiliary have has plus the subject plus the past participle. I've gone through that quite quickly. If you need to, please just pause the recording and take time to read through my notes again and to refer to them during the rest of this lesson and for the test at the end. Okay, it's not an easy tense to use, the present perfect simple. Here we go. So let's have a look at task 2. Here again, we have to choose the correct form. Okay, but often the past participle is irregular, which adds to the problems when using it, doesn't it? Number 1, I'm very lucky. I've never break, I've never broke, or I've never broken an arm or a leg. Which form is correct? Number 2, hi, I'm really sorry, but I've forgotten, or I've forget your name. Which one? Number 3, it's so good to hear from you. We haven't spoken, we haven't speak, or we haven't spoke since last summer. Choose the correct form there. Number 4, I love your watch. How long do you have? Have you had, or did you have it? And finally, number 5, let's go outside. It stopped, it stops, or it has stopped raining now. Pause the recording if you need to. Work out which form is correct. Let's have a look at the answers. I've never broken an arm or a leg. So there, break, broke, broken. Broken is the past participle that we need. I've forgotten your name. Yeah. We haven't spoken since last summer. How long have you had your watch? And it has, contraction, it's stopped raining now. Okay, so now what I want you to do is go back and match the answers to task 2 to the uses of the present perfect simple 1, 2, 3, 4 from the language focus task. This just helps you to memorize when it is exactly that we use this form in English. Okay, so for example, I've never broken an arm or a leg. This is used for when we don't give a specific time or but we mean in our whole life. Yep, so I've never broken an arm or a leg in my life. Use for. Let's pop back. What about I've forgotten your name? Oh, I've forgotten your name. Which use is that? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Go back, have a look at them. Number 3, we haven't spoken since last summer. Number 4, how long have you had your watch? And number 5, it's stopped raining now. It has, not is. It has stopped raining now, but we can shorten it to it's stopped raining now. 1, 2, 3, or 4 usage. Okay, if that's too difficult, let's have a look at the answers. Okay, that way I need to go, isn't it? So I've forgotten your name is use to. What does that mean? Use to is when a past action is important in the present. So I've forgotten your name. I can't remember it now. Oh, that's terrible, isn't it, when that happens? Number 3, we haven't spoken since last summer. So there we are. There's the past point, last summer, and there's now, and there's the link. We haven't spoken in all that time between the past and now. Use one. Similarly, how long have you had your watch? Okay, you got your watch, you bought your watch in the past, and you've had it all the way up till now. Do you like my action? Shows that the action it links the action from the past to the present. Okay, and it has stopped raining now, again, is a past action that's important now. Here's an unjumbling task for you to do. Now, these are good because they help your memory. Okay, they help your memory and they help you with word order. So let's have a look. Put the following words into the correct order in the sentence. Again, this is with the present perfect simple, but I have added in some time phrases. Here we have the time phrase yet. Okay, so number one, haven't this yet lesson we finished? Can you put the words in the correct order? Tip, look for the capital letter which will show you the start of the sentence. Okay, listen, we haven't finished this lesson yet. Did you get it right? Let's look at number two. The present perfect, I studied the already have. What's the order? I have already studied the present perfect. Number three. You about yet told perfectly spoken friends have your. Okay, you can pause the recording there if you need more time. But the answer is, have you told your friends about perfectly spoken yet? It's quite a long sentence, that, isn't it? Number four. Has friend got my just engaged best? My best friend has just got engaged. Number five. Watched good I haven't for film ages. Pause the recording if you're not sure, there's lots of words there. Ready? I haven't watched a good film for ages. It's quite true. And number six. All have I weak cold had this. Ready? I have had a cold all this week. So a cold is when you have your nose, you sniff and it's sore and you maybe have a sore throat. Let's have a look at the answers together. Here we go. We haven't finished this lesson yet. I've already studied the present perfect. Have you told your friends about perfectly spoken yet? My best friend has just got engaged. I haven't watched a good film for ages and I've had a cold all this week. How did you do? Okay, so what can you tell me about the present perfect with these time phrases, yeah? So you'll often see for and since and how long used with the present perfect because they connect the past with the present and say they talk about the duration of something. So how long have you had your phone? For 6 months or since March. Yeah. So how long, for, and since always come with the present perfect simple. 2, for life experience with ever and never. Excuse me. So have you ever visited the UK? Have you ever visited the UK? I've never visited Thailand, but I'd like to. Look at the position, okay? So they come after the subject, okay? And after the auxiliary verb and before the past participle. We use them for unfinished time. So when you see things like today, this week, this month, this year, I've had a cold all this week. Yeah. And for a time before now with already, just, and yet. So what's the difference between these three? Well, we use yet to talk about a time before now with questions. Have you eaten yet? We use already for something in positive sentence that happened some time ago. I've already eaten. I don't say when, maybe 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago. For something that happened before now in a small amount of time, I've just eaten. Yeah, it's maybe 5 minutes ago. And again, it's subject, auxiliary, just, and past participle. I've just eaten. If it's a negative, then the yet goes at the end. I haven't eaten yet. Okay, so unfortunately, these just have to be learnt, but you get to know them with practice, which is what all language is about, isn't it? It's using and practicing. And these are the contexts when you're talking about your life, your experience, how long you've been doing, how long you've done things for. You know, this tense comes up again and again. So let's have some practice of that, shall we? Here we've got some irregular past participles, taken, found, been, done, spoken, and known, and you've got to put them into the question forms. And you will find also that I have used a time phrase with them. So, for example, in number 1, how long have you your best friend? Taken, found, been, done, spoken, or known. What can you say there? That's right. How long have you known your best friend? Number 2, have you ever to the UK? Have you ever been to the UK? Have you ever been to the UK? Number 3, have you any English at all this week? Have you any English at all this week? Have you spoken any English at all this week? Number 4, have you your perfect partner yet? Have you your perfect partner yet? Now we've already used known and that wouldn't work there anyway. And we haven't got met. So what could you use? That's right. Have you found your perfect partner yet? From find. Number 5, have you already a perfectly spoken level test? Have you already done a perfectly spoken level test? Have you already taken a perfectly spoken level test? Both are possible. And number 6, have you anything special today? Have you done anything special today? Here we go, here are the answers. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you the question, and I want you to answer them so that they're true for you. Here we go. How long have you known your best friend? Number 2, have you ever been to the UK? Number 3, have you spoken any English at all this week? Number 4, have you found your perfect partner yet? Number 5, have you already taken a perfectly spoken level test? And number 6, have you done anything special today? Task 5 means it's the end of my lesson on the present perfect simple. I hope you've enjoyed it. There's a lot in this lesson, I've put a lot of information in there. So please go back to the beginning, read through it, particularly look at the language focus stage and matching the rules to the examples to try and help you to see when we use it. Okay, I hope you found that useful. Thanks very much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.